The AK's reputation for reliability and durability has garnered almost a cult-like following in the United States. The rifle indeed has a stellar record, from operating in the dense jungles of Vietnam to the hot and dry mountains of Afghanistan. The AK has been used and abused in the worst possible environments around the globe. In many places around the world, an AK is the only firearm many people own. Here in the States, the AK cult following is growing faster than ever. But while much of the rifle's popularity stems from the historic aura surrounding the rifle, there are many practical reasons to own and keep one at your home. With a few modern upgrades, you can create a handy and relatively lightweight, everyday AK that you can use to protect your loved ones in the night, use as a truck gun, or take the opportunity to drop a deer that jumps out of a nearby field. But first, a discussion on economics. There are many choices that one has to make when selecting upgrades, especially in the context of preparing for what might seem to be the inevitable hard times ahead. You could easily spend a small fortune on a project like this. You could drop a couple thousand on the rifle, a couple grand more on optics and lasers, and a few hundred more bucks on rails, and you can see how quickly you can get carried away. That's money you could spend on night vision, armor, other things to prepare you and your family. If money isn't a factor for you, then you can go hog wild. But for this rifle, we're selecting upgrades with an average budget in mind to provide the most capability for a reasonable amount, all while keeping the rifle lightweight and handy. The rifle used for this project is a Palmetto State Armory AK-103. It's not the cheapest AK, nor is it the most expensive, but it's been proven reliable thanks to its hammer-forward parts and FN barrel. A more detailed review of this rifle is found in the links below. When selecting a rifle, be sure to do your research. Just because a rifle is an AK pattern does not mean it's necessarily reliable or durable. An increasingly popular route is to build your own AK from foreign parts kits. This is only a viable solution if you have some machinery such as a press, drill press, and sandblasting equipment, but it's a great way of learning the finer details of the AK's operating system. And building rifles could be a valuable skill in the future. AKs are popular in 5.45x39 or 7.62x39, and some now are being offered in 5.56. If you're able to build your own, you'll be able to select from high-quality Eastern parts kits that have a reputation for reliability. One thing that's highly recommended for a practically minded rifle is selecting one with a folding stock. This will allow you to transport the rifle with a smaller footprint and give you more options for travel and concealment. There are a variety of folding mechanisms that can be used, but a side folder is much easier to deploy under stress with a simple press of a button than, say, for example, an underfolder, which requires some dexterity and more complex hand movements. And in our opinion, a side folder offers a far more comfortable cheek weld. The type of side folder you choose is a matter of personal taste, but the original stock on the AK-103 is lightweight and every bit as comfortable to shoot as any fixed stock model. Once you have your base rifle, it's time to start with the upgrades. One of the easiest upgrades to start off with is to add a Russian-style flash hider to the rifle. Traditional AKs with a slant break or AK-74 style flash hider create a tremendous amount of muzzle flash at night. More modern Russian variants almost completely eliminate this flash. These are manufactured by companies such as Volk and Strela. Regular muzzle brakes do a fair job at reducing recoil and improving hit percentages with follow-up shots. But in low light and indoor conditions, they offer some severe drawbacks. At night, the muzzle flash can be downright obnoxious and can temporarily impair unaided night vision. It also presents a highly visible signature that might invite some return fire in a tactical situation. Most muzzle brakes tend to direct much of the blast back towards the shooter or towards your nearby buddy, and in indoor environments, this effect is further enhanced by walls. Same conditions apply in vehicles. Sure, you might be able to get through it, but it can be very distracting if you haven't desensitized yourself to it beforehand. A flash hider like the Volk does a great job of almost entirely eliminating flash while directing that muzzle blast away from the shooter. The next thing you want to add is a rail or a mounting device for an optic and weapon light. A Midwest Industries gas tube was selected for this rifle. There are a number of optic mounts available today, including dust cover mounts, rear sight replacement optic mounts, and AK side rail mounts. An AK gas tube is simple and unobtrusive, and a simple way to mount an optic and light your rifle. It's relatively inexpensive, and allows you to keep your original lower handguard, and they don't interfere with the left side folding stock like a side mount would. A forward optic is also a great way to go when using the rifle with night vision, something we'll get into in a moment. For low light situations, this everyday AK has been fitted with a SureFire Mini IR Scout mounted to the gas tube rail. The weapon light is adjustable between both visible white light for unaided use and infrared light for use with night vision devices. A nice feature of this Scout is that it has a flexible mount which sits quite close to the gas tube, making it a low profile design. For night vision use, this rifle is set up for passive aiming only, meaning no actively emitting lasers are used for aiming. This reduces the rifle weight, complexity, and greatly reduces the cost. Under stress, the IR light itself can be used as a rudimentary aiming beam at close quarters perhaps. Though the Mini IR Scout is somewhat expensive for weapon light at over $200, that's a lot less money compared to a decent IR laser, which can easily cost over $1,000. If money is an issue, using this passive aiming setup will generate quite a bit of savings. You can direct towards purchasing gear with a greater return, like a decent set of night vision. Behind the weapon light sits a HaloSun HS403R. Once again, there's a number of options out there that match the capability of this red dot, but it goes without saying that manufacturers these days are proving you don't need to spend $600 or $800 on a red dot to get perfectly acceptable performance. The 403R comes in at under $200, has an extremely long battery life, and is night vision capable. The sight is also quite rugged, and for the price, you could purchase one or two backups and still save money compared to purchasing one sight from a more expensive brand. Mounting a red dot on the gas tube makes for easy handling when aiming passively with night vision. Rear-mounted sights can at times present challenges with night vision due to the length of the intensifier tube. You might end up bumping up against the sight with your tube or having trouble finding the reticle. With a forward-mounted setup, your eye is focused further out on the rifle, and it's much more of a natural feeling. It makes passive aiming a lot easier, more intuitive, almost as easy as aiming with the unaided eye. And so, with upgrades costing less than $650 total, you can get yourself a rifle which greatly improves your capabilities both at day and at night. It folds away nicely, and you can easily tuck it away in your closet or in your vehicle, all without breaking the bank. You really don't need a huge budget or a bunch of gadgets to have a capable rifle that's able to do its job across a variety of situations. And in fact, in many ways, simplicity is one of this rifle's greatest strengths. It allows you to keep your mind and money on other things.